Hell of a game yesterday, Vikings fans. The Vikings ended up losing to the Las Vegas Raiders 26-20. But a lot of the game was around Kellen Mond and Sean Mannion. I want to ask you guys this before we get into the video. Who is quarterback 2 on this Vikings roster? Type 11 for Kellen Mond, type 14 for Sean Mannion. I'm expecting to see a lot of 11s in the comments section. Hey Vikings fans, welcome in the Vikings Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Patrick Seatman. And in today's video, I have winners and I have losers from the Vikings game versus the Las Vegas Raiders, losing week 1, 26-20. But hey, I think the biggest winner from yesterday's game was Kellen Mond. I think he should be the quarterback 2 moving forward for the Vikings. He had a really solid game yesterday. He really showed kind of his true talent and why the Vikings drafted him in the 3rd round out of Texas A&M. He was 9 of 14, 119 yards with 2 touchdowns. And my favorite play of the game, honestly, was probably his worst throw of the game. When he was running around the backfield, he evaded about 2 or 3 edge rushers, missing tackles, and then eventually he rolled out to his right, had a receiver wide open back in the end zone, and missed the throw. But the reason I liked that play was it showed his natural talent and natural ability. And the reason I think Kellen Mond should be QB2 right now is, frankly, he needs all the reps he can get. We know what we have with Sean Mannion. We know that Sean Mannion is kind of this statuesque quarterback, but when you look at Kellen Mond and kind of the ability he showed us yesterday, this untapped potential, it really gets me excited. And I'm super excited to see Kellen Mond in the next 2 preseason games as our quarterback too. Now, the Vikings running back room. Holy cow. Did I think this Vikings running back room was good going into the game? But now coming out of the game, this might be one of the best in the league. If we're looking at what the running backs did yesterday against the Raiders, Ty Chandler, 5 carries, 50 yards, 10 yards a carry. Kene Nwangwu getting in there and having 7 carries for 41 yards. And then you see at the bottom, our boy Alexander Mattison, 3 carries, 8 yards, and he had some words to say about that after, but we'll get into that in a second. The Vikings overall on the ground, really solid. 5.7 yards a carry, and I think the interior of the offensive line was a huge contributor to that, but also Ty Chandler and Kene Nwangwu mainly, they looked elusive, great cuts, and I think they could be challenging Mattison for their running back too. And this is what Mattison had to say on Twitter, because a lot of Vikings fans were kind of getting on him, saying trade Mattison and all of this, kind of forgetting that Mattison is a still very good back in the NFL. And he said, I don't mind the disrespect, just make sure y'all keep the same energy. And I love this out of Mattison. You know, he's probably hearing Kene Nwangwu should get more touches than you, Ty Chandler should get more touches than you, and a lot of Vikings fans are drinking that purple Kool-Aid in the preseason and are probably attacking Alexander Mattison on Twitter, but it will probably just motivate him. And I think overall, not the biggest deal that Mattison tweeted this out. But my 3rd winner from yesterday, Ed Ingram. Thank you. The Vikings finally drafted an interior offensive lineman that I am excited about. Ed Ingram, he looked phenomenal yesterday. And my biggest takeaway with Ed Ingram yesterday, he was always looking for the next block. You know, a bunch of plays yesterday, he would finish up his assignment, and then I would see him move on to the next linebacker or other defensive lineman and put him on his ass. And I also think my number 1 takeaway with Ed Ingram, I think he's on pace to start week 1 versus the Packers. If you're looking at this Vikings depth chart, Jesse Davis, he is still nicked up with injuries. Ed Ingram, with him playing and getting all these first-team reps in the preseason, I think Jesse Davis should watch his back. And I understand Jesse Davis, yes, he is dealing with an injury. But Ed Ingram, the tenacity he showed yesterday, and yes, he is a rookie, but I do think if he keeps developing and keeps showing this coaching staff that he is going in the right direction, I think he has a chance to start week 1. But hey, I want to ask you guys this. What do you think? Let me know down below. Will Ed Ingram start week 1 versus the Packers? Type Y for yes, N for no. This will be the pinned comment on today's video. Right now, I think I'm leaning towards yes. I don't want to throw Jesse Davis just under the rug because he's not playing. But, hey, I do definitely think that Ed Ingram has a really good chance. I would lean towards yes right now. But now, back in the trenches for another winner I have versus the Las Vegas Raiders, Harrison Phillips. Man, this guy looked good in limited reps yesterday. He had a tackle for loss, a sack, and 3 total tackles versus the Las Vegas Raiders yesterday. And the thing I loved about him was when he is playing that interior defensive line role, he is such an anchor for the defense. And I love using this kind of comparison. Offensive linemen, the relationship they have with running backs is the same relationship that defensive linemen have for linebackers. So I believe Eric Kendricks, one of the better tackling linebackers in the NFL, Jordan Hicks, who we brought in during NFL free agency, another one of the better tackling linebackers in the NFL. I just think Harrison Phillips, he'll open lanes for these guys. I think Harrison Phillips, if you're looking at what he did yesterday, he just held down that interior of the defensive line, and then once he went out of the game, you saw the Raiders running game really amping up. Now, probably my biggest winner, and you guys may laugh at this, but I think it's Vikings fans. Vikings fans were the biggest winner yesterday, and I think it's credit to the head coach. You know, I think this team under Kevin O'Connell, coming off the Mike Zimmer era, from just my eye test yesterday, they really played loose. I think now that the Zim era is gone, this team will be just playing with a lot more careless freedom where they don't care if they make the mistake, because Kevin O'Connell, if you guys listened to his post-game press conference last night, I did, and he just seemed so just positive after the game. It's not like he, got up there and bashed players like Zimmer did. And he kept saying throughout the press conference, process-oriented. Yes, you could look, the Vikings lost yesterday 26-20. Kevin O'Connell, his whole mindset is saying, where did we get better? Where did we improve? And hey, the Vikings had the highest rated team according to PFF from all of the NFL teams in week 1 of preseason. Take that for what it's worth. I don't know how you could be the number 1 rated team and lose a game, but hey, you got to ask PFF for that one. But I want to know what you guys think. You guys watched the whole game yesterday, I'm assuming, just like I did. Who is your biggest winner? Was it Kellen Mond? Was it a guy like Harrison Phillips, who the Vikings brought in during NFL free agency? Or was it even a guy like Kevin O'Connell, our new head coach, just seeing the vibe that the Vikings had playing yesterday? Let me know down below, who is your biggest winner from week 1 versus the Raiders. Now, unfortunately, we got to get into some losers, and I think the first loser we need to talk about is Sean Mannion. Now, I don't want to get up on here and just bash Sean Mannion throughout the next 2 minutes of this video, because I think with Sean Mannion going into this game, we knew what he was. He didn't really prove anything different to me that I already didn't know. And I think if you're looking at Sean Mannion and why I think he is a loser, it's because Kellen Mond yesterday showed real, raw talent. Sean Mannion going in the game, we knew what he was going to do. We knew he was just going to be the statue quarterback that throws and hits his occasional target, nothing special. I always say this, Sean Mannion, he's Kirk Cousins' study buddy. And I think now after seeing this game with Kellen Mond showing that he does have some real raw talent and untapped potential, I have to throw Sean Mannion on the losers list. But now my next loser, and this, you know what, this really hurts me to say, it's D.J. Wonnum. D.J. Wonnum, when he was drafted by the Vikings, I was comparing him to Danielle Hunter. Very similar physical attributes, and I thought Danielle Hunter and the kind of trajectory that his career took would be very similar to D.J. Wonnum. But hey, he struggled all night. And Patrick Jones yesterday actually had the most pressures out of a Vikings edge rusher. So he's kind of sneaking up on the doorsteps of D.J. Wonnum. And the number one takeaway just from my eye test yesterday, I think D.J. Wonnum, he doesn't really have a huge arsenal of pass rush moves. It kind of just seems like he is bull rushing 99% of the time. And he didn't get a single pressure on the quarterback yesterday, playing a lot of snaps and already going against a Raiders offensive line where their tackle position is shaky. I mean, they had Alex Leatherwood playing in the third quarter yesterday. That could kind of speak to the Raiders tackles. But hey, again, I want to know what you guys think. What is your confidence level in D.J. Wonnum? Going into next year, I'm probably sitting around a 4 or 5 right now. He is coming off a year where he had 7 sacks, which is incredibly impressive for a second-year player. I just am assuming that D.J. Wonnum could take a next step going in the next year, but after what I saw last night, I'm not the most confident. Now, honestly, this may get a laugh out of you guys too, but another loser from yesterday are wide receivers trying to make this team. The Vikings wide receiving group, it may be the deepest in the NFL. And you have, obviously, your big guns, Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, KJ Osborne, and then you have guys like B.C. Johnson and Amir Smith-Marset who look like locks to make the team. And normally teams in the NFL will take 6 wide receivers. And we all know how Dan Chisena, he is a special teams demon tucked under the wide receiver 4 mark. So I just think if you're looking at this wide receiver group, you know, a loser yesterday, Jalen Naylor, Tristan Jackson. I mean, those guys, Myron Mitchell, another one, Albert Wilson, who caught 2 touchdowns. The fact that the Vikings have to get the 6, it really is going to be hard on our GM, Kwesi. And I think cuts will be tough for Kwesi. I mean, if you really have to get down to 6 wide receivers with the amount of solid wide receiver talent that this team has, it's going to be tough, man. I mean, it's really going to be tough for a first-year GM, but hey, it's a great problem to have in the long run. Now, just because I want to throw a jab at our Green Bay Packers, go down, subscribe to the channel, and then, hey, also if you're already subscribed, give me a skull in the comments down below. I want to see the comment section filled with skulls. There's actually somebody 2 weeks ago who commented skull 20 times on a video. Could somebody beat that? Could we have somebody who's already subscribed comment skull more than 20 times? But go down there, subscribe to the channel, of course, if you hate the Green Bay Packers. And also, follow me on Twitter. I'm going to be tweeting about the Vikings all NFL season. I can't wait to chop it up with you guys. It's really a special Vikings community we have, and I just can't wait to grow it with you guys. Follow me on Twitter right here, @PatSeatmanNFL. Thank you guys for watching Vikings Now by Chat Sports.